Welcome to my kitchen. Today I am making just a shrimp pasta with veggies. It's one of my favorites because it's super simple. I'm starting here. I've got a heated pan and I'm just adding a couple tablespoons of olive oil, maybe even 3 tablespoons. I am going to make this pretty saucy, so I'm going to let that heat up quickly. Okay. Once that's heated, I'll give it about a minute. I'm going to add in my veggies. Right now I'm just going to add in a little bit of garlic that I had on hand. It's about a tablespoon of garlic, minced garlic. Oh yeah, that's pretty hot already, so that's great. I don't want that to burn, so I'm not actually going to let it sit for very long. I have here some leftover from a can of diced tomatoes, some leftover tomatoes. So I'm going to add that, and that's going to be the basis of this sauce. When I first started making this recipe, I used to use baby tomatoes, either grape tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, whatever I had on hand, whatever was easy. But over the years, and now that I have kids, I've switched to diced tomatoes because I usually have them on hand in a can. And it's easy. I need easy and fast and tasty. So that's in there. I'm going to add a little bit of salt. Not too much. I don't like to cook with too much salt because I don't want the kids eating too much salt, and my husband and I are happy to add it. So I'm just going to mix that in. And we're going to let that stew with the lid on for a couple minutes. Maybe more than a couple. I think I'll give that probably 3 minutes. If I was using fresh tomatoes, I would let it cook for even longer because you want to cook them down essentially. We're making a tomato sauce, the base of tomato sauce. Okay, so we'll do that and we'll be right back. And we're back. It's been a few minutes. It's boiled down really nicely. Show that to me. Let's see. There we go. So that looks pretty saucy, which is what I want because this is the extent of our sauce. There's not much else going in here. Now I've got here the veggies that I had in the fridge. Today it's asparagus, orange pepper, some leeks, and some tomato that I had that was going to start going bad if I didn't use it. I figured, why not? So what we're going to do is we're going to add this in. And I've just chopped everything up so that it's all roughly the same size. It's really your preference. There's no right or wrong way to do this. That's something else I've learned. As long as it tastes good, it's really okay. So I do my best to chop everything to roughly the same size, knowing that certain vegetables will take longer to cook, so you want to leave them a little bit bigger. If I've got a fat piece of asparagus, I cut it a little smaller than some of the smaller pieces. So you just want everything cooking at about the same rate, and that's really what's important. Okay, so I'm just going to mix this up. Get the veggies sort of covered with that sauce that I've started. And I'm going to add some rosemary. This is what makes this my favorite pasta meal that I make. It's the rosemary. Rosemary and tomato is so simple with some garlic, but it's delicious. It's so good. Okay, how much of this? It's probably like a teaspoon. Wow, that's really flying up in the air today. Okay. I usually go by smell, but I'm going to say it's about a teaspoon. If you like rosemary, you want it really spicy, add more. You don't like it, add a little bit less. Use something else. It doesn't really matter. I'm also going to add some garlic powder because I didn't have enough fresh garlic on hand. So normally I would probably use 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, and I only had 1. So that's why I'm going to add a little bit of powdered garlic, mix that up, and I will add just a bit more salt once I've got that mixed in. Try to go sparing on me with the salt, but it definitely adds some great flavor. Oh, I love how colorful that got. Okay, salt. Oh, other side. Okay. Again, spices I really think should be to taste. That's important. Make it how you like it if you're the one eating it. I'm not cooking for company, so there we go. All right, so what I'm going to do is let that simmer. Probably I'll leave it just under 10 minutes. Again, there's no right or wrong here, but because I just want to get this done, I will leave it for 10 minutes. I'll come back. Should be cooked down enough that I'm going to add some shrimp to steam on top. And once the shrimp is cooked, I'll add in my cooked pasta and we'll be done. So it's been, let's see, 9 minutes. I'm just gonna take this off. I made this really super saucy because I am putting it together during the day. We're gonna eat it tonight and probably also for leftovers. So the extra sauce is really good when it comes to pasta dishes because that pasta will soak it up, which is what I want. It makes it so tasty. I'll let you see this though. We've got, oops, right, there we go. So that's what it looks like. You can hear it bubbling, fantastic. I turned it down. It is just simmering there, but oops, there we go. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna give it a stir. And you can cook it longer. I'm seeing that the peppers really do need to cook more, but all the other veggies seem pretty soft. And again, because I'm not making this to eat it right now, I am going to go ahead and get my pasta. Earlier I said I was gonna do the shrimp and then the pasta. I'm not, I'm gonna put the pasta in first. So here we go. Got my pasta here. It's a little bit stuck. There we go. We're just gonna dump that in. How much pasta is it? That's the question, right? I'd say it's enough for 4 adult servings. I took, yeah, like a toonie. I'm in Canada, so I took a toonie sized amount of uncooked pasta and cooked it up, and here we are. I don't know what that kind of point is anywhere else in the world, but anyway. I'm not very specific in my recipes because I've learned I don't have to be. I've made the same things over and over and over enough times now to be comfortable having fun with it. When I first started making this dish, I would only do cherry tomatoes and rosemary and olive oil and garlic. And I wasn't allowed to deviate from that. I had to use my angel hair pasta because that's how I was told it was supposed to be. That's how I had it the first time. It was delicious. And yeah, I put a lot of pressure on myself to always just make this dish that way, and I don't know why. So I'm slowly learning. I'm teaching myself how to do it. Ooh, that was hot. Okay, it's all good. I have my sleeves on today. I'm going to let that sit just for about a minute. I just want the pasta to soak up a little bit of that juice before I add the shrimp, and then we're basically done. And that's it. It's not too complicated, not too difficult. And again, it's really tasty. I'm just watching the clock to see when that time is going to shift. I get really impatient when I'm cooking. I don't like to wait. Anyhow. It's bubbling. Oh, and in terms of how high you're cooking it, initially I had it on medium while I heated the pan, heated the oil, and then added my tomatoes. After that, when I put in the veggies to simmer, I turned it down further. My stove tends to run hot, so you might want to turn it not quite as low as I have it. I had it almost all the way down at the low setting, and right now I'd say we're in between medium and low. Anyhow, doesn't matter. Don't stress about it. I'm going to just pour my shrimp on, and I just let those steam. I don't mix them in until we're ready to eat it. So you'll see I'm just going to try to place them all on top. I had them frozen, and they were still a little bit frozen when I peeled them, so there is some shrimp water in the bowl. That doesn't sound great, doesn't look great, it's not appetizing. I don't want it. So just carefully scooping them out and trying to find a spot for all of them. Oh, that didn't work. Oops. Okay, most of the water stayed in there, that's great. So now I'm just gonna close it and let it steam until those are cooked. You can see what that looks like before it gets super steamy. Okay, and once those turn pink, I'm gonna turn it off, let it sit, and either enjoy it now or save it for later. Okay, we'll be back. It's been 8 minutes since I put my shrimp on top of this dish, and we're basically done. I'm gonna turn it off. It's ready to eat. You can see those shrimp are nice and pink. I'll leave them a couple minutes where I'm not eating it right now, which is why I'm okay with not cooking them completely. The nice thing about making it really saucy like this, and letting the shrimp steam on top instead of cooking them on the bottom of the pan, is they stay, everything first of all doesn't dry out, and those shrimp are gonna stay nice texture and flavor wise, which I'm really big on, because once they get overcooked, I don't want to eat rubbery shrimp. So that's it. It's simple, and let me know if you try it. See you next time.